depends on the person's assets, liabilities, income, and expenses. If someone is just getting by and doesn't have a lot of assets, then 10% is appropriate. But if someone has a lot of equity in their home, or they make a lot of money, or they're way over the median income, then they're going to have to pay more than 10% back of those that file claims.
So on the low end of it is 10% of unsecured, okay, but you have to pay 100% of your secured creditors.
That's true with the exception of a vehicle. If a vehicle was purchased more than 2.5 years ago, you can pay the fair market value of the vehicle.
So basically, I lost it when I lost some value when I drove it off the lot. So I lost $10,000 in value. So if the fair market value now is $10,000 less, that is something I wouldn't necessarily have to pay.
As long as the vehicle was purchased 2.5 years before the filing, that's the key. They call it 910, which is the number of days it has to be purchased. If it's a 910 car, referred to that way, then we can lower the value or pay back just the value at 6%, which could be a huge savings between what the value is and what the actual dollar amount of the debt is.
But you have to at least have enough available monies after your allowable expenses to, within 3 years or 5 years, to pay back 100% of your secured debt, with the exception you mentioned, and a minimum of 10% of your unsecured debt. What happens if the money that's left after the allowable expenses doesn't kind of equate to that? What happens then?
If you cannot propose a plan that's going to pay back, like you talked about, then the plan or the case is not going to get recommended for confirmation, and it will be thrown out.
And then that's the end of that. Then I have to look at some other options.
Yes, or you can possibly refile if your circumstances change. Maybe you get additional income, you bring in some family member who's going to help you. So there's always a way if you're creative and you work hard and you want to make it happen.